This is part one of a very long poem, the longest in fact, called Tighernmas. Count back generations on your fingers till your fingers wear off. You'll come to a king called Tighernmas, who lurks in dark corners of history's loft. Never mentioned by historians, or at least not oft, High King of Ireland, priest and ruler, myth and mystagogue, atavism's avatar, though he looked a lot like me, though he lived in the 16th century BC or BCE. Now, the four masters in their history think Tighernmas demented, for idolatry is the sin our ancestor invented. Not of gold his god, nor silver cast in mold, not diamond eyes and all the maudlin trumpery, the stuff philosophers throw away, but the stuff of his very soul's what he abused, that poets keep as too pure to use. A hard man, Tighernmas, no dog loved him, and when they ran mad, they still ran from him. To begin, he had his druids carve in ogham on our holy staves his royal decree. His Majesty declares this ardry a decree to stand to eternity. I had no mother, no father whose eye matched mine, or whose ear was shell-shaped to the shell of mine. I grew in no belly, was fed with no blood, pushed out with no pain, with no pain will I push into a grave. No little spoonful of words was coaxed to my lips, no hand held mine to learn the crooked ogham. Without brother I, or sister, or friend to sit at table, where grief and joys and jokes are shared. A perfect monad's me, no man's needs mine. No woman's sorrow or pity of child thrown comfortless on the frozen ground. I am I, and no god dare say the same. The druids trembled. The druids wrote, and then the druids climbed into a boat. They hoisted the sails, and they went to Wales to hide while Tighernmas ran his course. Oh, then it was a high merry, a folly in old Ireland, for Tighernmas ran mad in the making of his god. Crom Cruach he called him, the god who was himself, the bit one of the mound, was no more than a pole with a knob in the end. But Tighernmas made himself a hierarchy of priests, who walked by his order from the greatest to the least, the king deciding who was greater than who, for his royalist title was knower of the true. Oh, he was cruel, Tighernmas, but the god that was him trembled like a bit of dry leaf caught on a twig, cold and alone and afraid, and that was the stateliest of secrets that no one might know, not even the king. So the trembling must be ended, the wind ordered to cease, and power was issued as the coin of the realm, stamped with the king's face. All signs of weakness, for a very good reason, were banished for treason. They defiled the eyes of the king who saw them, for Tighernmas was really a mirror that rusted when reflecting water. Primary among Tighernmas' goals was the destroying of lovers found to have naked souls. For sex, nothing was permitted that was not rape. Tears were most unfashionable, and all who were careful shed the habit of weeping. Women were allowed only to have bodies. Minds were men's, and so were decisions. And oh, he loved his tortures, Tighernmas the king. When bones were breaking of his enemies, then it was fatness to his soul. When skin was peeled and salt rubbed in, Tighernmas smiled faintly with the aesthetic delight, and laughed when the hanged hung half alive half the night. Kedemon the poet was the last one who sang of a blithe-hearted king who wasn't Tighernmas, with a heart that wasn't black and bitter as the north wind's salt sea ice. God is joy, God is love, God twitters in the skylark and the sunny skies above. God is king of the leaping of the waterfalls in the woods and the sweeping of the planets that are running now like kittens around a million suns. Gentle in her joying as a feather in its falling, harmless as the calling of the doves when winter ends. God is without forcing, maker of all. God's love is this, to give ourselves and offer us bliss. Our souls are not idols, our souls are not ours, but peepholes to the daylight, where God is golden and ever on the rise. Glad angels of spring ever singing like birds when they would mate. Peer into happiness when you're sure that it's real, and God will fill your eyes as a raindrop fills a bowl. So Kedemon sing, and those who had known Tighernmas swore by Crom Cruach they'd never seen such anger. The blood of the king was boiling in his veins and turning to foam that ran from his mouth. Red the royal eyes rolling, and like snakes that writhed beneath a blanket, blue arteries slithered on his forehead. He cursed himself hoarse that Kedemon the poet had named the unnameable joy that Tighernmas so lacked. He roared like the brown bull of Cool, till the dust of dead dynasties shook from the rafters of Aben Macha, and the priests fell in a rout and a confusion to get out. "Kill the poet!" were the words that fell from Tighernmas Royal's lips, till he calmed enough to speak "kill." The king bellowed like a hog being cut. "Kill, kill, kill." But Kedemon the poet was no fool, you may know it. Already had gotten himself out of the land. He danced on the grass, hardly shaking the dew. He walked in the woods where the acorns are new, and the rustle of his feet was less than the wind when it wakes, gentle as a squirrel pup's breath. To England went Kedemon, and there safe, amongst the Druids he touched his harps, till the stones of Stonehenge danced around him, great stone arms upon each other's shoulders, a heavy, merry dance in brogans of blue